Good morning, everybody. This is Lindy. I'm going to talk about necessities in starting van life. This is my opinion. These are things I thought were important to me. So everybody's different. Everybody has their own thoughts, excuse me, on how they live and what they want in comfort. So I'm just discussing my necessities. And I had four important necessities. And I think that when I started out, I just built the van. No, I'd say just as little as possible. A bed, a refrigerator, a toilet, and for me, the fourth necessity is solar. Uh, you don't have to have the refrigerator. Many people don't. You do need a bed. You can have a bucket for a toilet, so you don't have to have a toilet, and you don't have to have solar. But for me, they were important. Those four things were the most important thing. And the solar was probably number one on the list. I wanted electricity. I wanted to be able to run things. I literally wanted to be able to cook, use just solar, no other fuel of any kind. I learned very quickly I did need other fuels. But I'm building up my solar. I started out with 300 watts on the roof, and now 500. 300 was never enough. It's 500. I chose not to put a fantastic fan in or one of the fans in the ceiling because I wanted solar. A fantastic fan could have been put in the back window. Some people do that. I wanted room for solar. I actually can put one more panel up on my roof. It's crowded, but 600 watts of solar is more important to me than a fan. And I know a lot of you say, well, you need a fantastic fan. I've done fine without it. In June, it'll be 2 years. So each person is different on this. Your finances are different. Everything's different. But I'm telling you what I did and what I thought was my priority. I really wanted a senior toilet. I'm old. I needed it, okay? I wanted the height. I didn't want a bucket. I'd done a bucket. Did a bucket for 2 years. I was done with buckets, okay? So a toilet was important to me. I might change my toilet. I'm studying. I don't mind my toilet at all. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I am looking at, maybe in a few years, well, it depends on how long I'm in my van, to be honest with you. Um, I don't know how long I'm going to be in my van, and making more and more investments in different equipment is not really cost effective at this point. I think with this air conditioner, which I'm doing a video on tomorrow, because I should have it finished tomorrow. It runs on my 2000 solar. It's fabulous. I'm loving it. But my 2000 solar does run it. My 1500 will not turn the cool on. It'll turn the fan on, but it won't turn the cool on. The surge is just too high. So, where was I at? Oh my goodness. Anyway, see, now I've lost my context here. I was going to say something, and now I have no clue what I was going to say. But, so the toilet was important. The bed was always important. I had slept on cots before. When I first started in 2011, for 2 years, I slept on the floor on a lace lounge chair pad. That's what I had on the floor in the van. And I did fine. Of course, I'm a lot older now. I don't want to do that again. But I did. That's the whole point, is I did. You can do it. You can do it in a very minimal way. I had nothing. I had battery-operated fans. In the winter, KFC allowed me to plug into their outside electric outlet so I could run a little heater. So they were very helpful there. But the solar, after that, after experiencing nothing, I knew the next time I went in, I wanted certain things. And solar is very important to me. So, but you have to make that choice. And maybe your finances. I saved up for solar. And I've explained this before. I bought the 1500 and I bought the 500, but my son gave me the 2000 for a Christmas present 2 years ago, and I haven't really cared for it. Uh, I think because I don't have enough usage in it, and the watts that it uses itself to control itself, the BMS, battery management system, uses about 50 watts an hour. And it was using more watts than I was just to run itself. So it really didn't have a great amount of value to me at that point. Now I have an air conditioner, which really uses a lot of wattage. So the 2000 is more cost effective now. And also I have an air fryer, and that's 800 and some odd watts. Now they don't run a long period of time. And many of you say, well, the startup surge is so many watts. I get it. But I can't run down the 2000 watt because I can't build it back up. So maybe if I run it down to nothing in one day, it might take me 2 or 3 days to build it back up to 100%, even with 500 watts. Because you're not getting 350 watts for 10 hours a day. You're only getting it for so many hours a day. And it doesn't necessarily fill up the 2000. So there's so many variables in all of this, you know. And I'm just going to experiment. And that's the only way I'm learning, you know. I figure all this stuff out and I put it down in paper and say, yeah, this is going to work and this is going to work, and it doesn't. Why? Because I'm missing some little element I didn't understand, or I didn't see, or I didn't research far enough. So now experimentation is my best teacher, because I think things are going to work. Just like I thought the 1500 would at least turn it on. It didn't. The surge is too high. So it's all about a learning lesson. I'm getting back to my necessities. Yeah, I messed up. I got confused. I was talking about necessities. To me, solar is a necessity. Absolutely. My number one necessity. I could sleep on the floor. I could go in a bucket, and I could keep ice in a cooler. But the solar gives me the electricity I really need. And I really appreciate the solar. And I want solar panels. And the more solar panels you have, the better off you are. And that's the other thing. I'm going to put solar panel... I bought some really inexpensive solar panels. And I bought Renogy, which was the most expensive. And I don't see the difference between the two, to be honest with you. So if I were to buy any more, it's going to be the cheaper kind, because they work just as well. Now, over time, we'll see. But right now, they work just as well as the Renogy does. And Renogy is an excellent product. And I will put this information and links down to all of this in the description. But I did pick up some panels under $100 each. And with L.A.V.A, I don't buy packages because they're overpriced in my mind. Not a fact. In my mind, I can get cheaper panels that work just as well for my L.A.V.A. So if I can get them at half the price that L.A.V.A is charging, I'm going to do it, because I'm one of those people who's very frugal with their money, I think. Who knows? You know, sometimes I'm very frivolous too, so who knows? But so I'm going to name these, and I'll put them in my video description, and you can check them out. But they're working just fine, and I've had them I don't know, 6 months, 7 months. I love having the 500. It's made a tremendous amount of difference in bringing my solar up. The 300 just wasn't cutting it. Just wasn't cutting it. And the heat did damage the 2000. The 2000 will not charge past 87%. And last year, remember, I left it in the van, and it got up to 140 degrees in the van. And it did damage. Didn't damage the 1500, but it did damage the 2000. So that was a lesson learned. Now, it's not hurting the 2000. I've still got plenty of wattage to do what I want. But it's a lesson well learned. You don't leave it in the cold or the heat. You just don't. You take them into somewhere to protect them, because that's a huge investment. And it was a huge investment for me. and it'll be a huge investment for you. But my son gave it to me. I'm just reminding you. So I didn't buy it outright because I just couldn't afford it. So it was a gift. So I guess this is going to end this. I just wanted to talk about the four necessities that I felt were absolutely necessary. Everything else is just, your choice. You can have a bag for clothes and whatever, food, a little bag for food. Just because I carry so much food, I have a point to carrying that much food. I want to carry that much food. My weight in my van is half of what's allowed. My gas mileage is 18 to 20 miles a gallon. I have excellent gas mileage. So this food isn't bothering anybody, okay? It's there. And if I'm out somewhere and maybe I'm stuck, whatever happens for an emergency, I have lots of food. I can survive. And we have to remember that. Will I need to survive? Probably not. But I want that food. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel that I'm prepared. Whether I am or not, it's a whole nother ballgame. But it makes me think I am. So I just wanted to talk about the necessities and of how I felt. I am going to do another video tomorrow to show you my final setup for my air conditioner. I'm going to show you how it runs off solar, and we'll experiment, and we'll see how well it is. Who knows? I don't know. I just know I tested it at my son's house yesterday, and it ran for 20 minutes, no problem. It was beautiful, but it did go down pretty fast. So I'll let you think on this, okay? Because I'm getting up there. Whatever. My mind is going in a million places. You have a great day. I'll talk to you next time. Camo. And Camo is for Camo Dave, in memory of him. Every new person keeps saying, who's Camo? Camo Dave passed over a year ago, and I do this in memory of Camo. Camo Dave. Thanks for watching.